Hi everyone, and welcome to your very first semester in our lovely program. I'm happy to have you guys in the Rehab 600 class, your Introduction to Rehabilitation Counseling. I'm Dr. Simpson. I may have talked with you on the phone during your interview process or met you in person, so here I am again, and I'm just going to kind of provide you with a little bit of an overview of what to expect this semester, review the course syllabus a little bit. Don't be alarmed when you see that I have Module 1 posted as opposed to some of my colleagues. Module 1 is simply to provide you with an introduction to the course itself, get you the material, the syllabus, course schedule, any other additional material, my welcome letter, my little video introducing me, and to let you all introduce yourselves. So there's no point value assigned for this first module's discussion, just so you know that. And if you're looking at this and getting in here on Thursday night, that's completely fine too. Or if it's Friday and you're like, oh gosh, I had no idea, it's fine. As long as everybody's getting this information, there's no grade for the first discussion. With that, I just wanted, like I said, to take a couple minutes and review the course schedule as well as the syllabus. First and foremost, I highly encourage you to print out the course schedule. Use any and all types of calendars that you have to keep track of dates that assignments are due. Specifically, with this class in particular, you can expect that every single week you're going to be having a discussion that you're going to need to get in and post on. Discussions are worth 5 points each, except for you'll see that there's a couple of modules like Module 4 and Module 7 and 8. Module 4 is a 2-week module because we focus on disability legislation, which is a heavy topic and lots of content. And so for that, I haven't decided yet. I might be dividing out the discussion into 2 5-points or 1 10-point discussion, but it's a 2-week module. And then modules 7 and 8, which are split by spring break, are actually on the same content. So you'll still have the discussion posts for module 7 and module 8, but the content is the same, and you'll have some videos to reflect on of counselors that are actually working in the field. So with that being said, again, it's important to be really up to date on the course schedule. If you have any questions about it or the syllabus, you can always ask me. There's a discussion thread posted for general questions you might have. That could be questions about assignments, due dates, if something hasn't opened that was supposed to open. Sometimes we just kind of forget to click a button sometimes, or an old date might be listed on an assignment or something like that I've forgotten about. So if you're not able to access something, please always contact me and let me know, because typically it's like an error on my end that is a 5-second fix, but I don't know if things aren't working unless you tell me. That's the beauty of online education, right? I don't know what's going on in your lives or what you can see unless you let me know. So if you're looking at the syllabus, the purpose of this introductory class is really to get you a good foundation of understanding of the profession itself, of both rehabilitation counseling and mental health counseling. So you'll notice throughout the semester, through the 16-week period, that we're going to be focusing on both. In a lot of ways, rehab counseling and mental health counseling overlap, of course. That's why you're in this dual program, dual specialization program. But in a number of other ways, they're very separate. And the way that mental health counseling came about versus rehabilitation counseling is a little bit different too. So the reason I like this class so much and I love teaching is, for one, it's your first time in a grad level class typically, and your first exposure to rehab counseling, and so I love getting in at the forefront with students in their learning process. Two, I love kind of the history of the profession itself, and so you will notice that especially in the first part of the semester before the first exam, it is essentially like a history lesson. So you will find that the way the course modules are set up is, since we don't have any reading, I provided you all with readings, whether it be web pages that you could review and look at, articles that you need to be reading, different videos that I might have posted up. Typically I'll have a video lecture from myself every week as well, and I update those every year too, as things change, of course, in our world in terms of legislation. So you'll notice that the structure and format is kind of similar week to week, but we're going to be learning a lot of dates. And see, now this is me doing online stuff and forgetting to put my phone on silent. So So we're going to be learning a lot of dates. I provided lecture notes on that as well. And for that first exam, it is kind of date heavy, if you will. So stick with me the first part of the semester, okay? It is a little mundane at times, but I think it's really interesting. So with that being said, in terms of participation, there's a number of different assignments in the weekly discussions, of course. Discussion posts, you would be posting your own response to the question or questions that I've asked, and then you're responding to others as well as part of your participation. This is a relatively small class, and so I'll really be able to tell who's getting in and who's not, and when you're getting in and how you're participating. So, I really urge you to continue with those discussion posts in a really in a way that's beneficial to expand your learning on this topic matter that we're covering that week. It's very easy to get in at the last minute on a Thursday and say, hey, yeah, that was a great piece of information or good insight, or I did the same topic, good job on that. But it takes a lot more to actually be a little bit more cognitive in your responses and further your understanding of the material. So that's kind of the discussion formats and how the grading works for that. In terms of assignments, the first assignment isn't due until February, so that's good, but it's a pretty significant assignment with the legislation piece that's going to be due at that time. Because you guys are a smaller group, there may be a little bit of a change in how I am asking you to develop that assignment. I'll let you know here very shortly because I want to make sure the class numbers are going to stay the same. Typically, I let, if you're looking at the syllabus and under the legislation assignment category, typically I allow you to provide your information on that assignment in different formats. However, with a smaller class, I would love to be able to just do presentations where you're recording yourself, getting some time in front of a camera, because you'll be doing that in this program, not always talking to a camera, but talking to each other via, FaceTime or whatever it might be. And I want you to get to know each other, get to recognize each other as well, since you'll be spending some time on campus together too. So it may be that with that assignment, I'll just be asking you to do a presentation. So stay tuned on that. Like I said, I'll let you know plenty of time before that. And then the other major assignments, the counseling site identification project, is really a way to get you guys geared up and prepped and ready to think about where you're going to be going for practicum. And I know we tell you that you got lots of time, and that certainly is true. And it may seem like practicum is very far away, but it sneaks up on you pretty quickly, and unless you're fully prepared to identify sites and you kind of understand through, I hope, the project that I've assigned in this class, that it takes a lot more than just a simple phone call to identify sites sometimes. So we want to get you started sooner than later in thinking about where you might land for practicum and internship. The community resource assignment is another a point-heavy assignment, if you will, and so with this one you're actually going to be visiting a site, not just looking on the website. I want you to actually go there, visit the site, introduce yourself, interview a counselor or a supervisor, and then write up the response of the actual site visit. With every assignment, I have rubrics associated with them, and I post them for you to see and to see how you are doing within each content area. With the assignments that are writing based, you'll notice that, again, because you don't have a specific assigned text for the class, in addition to joining ACA as a student member, which is something that's very beneficial, and to continue with that membership as you move along in the profession. But I do want you to get the APA 7th edition manual. So they just came out with a new one in October. There have been changes that you need to be familiar with. If you're familiar with writing an APA style in the 6th edition, as everybody else in the world is, now you need to familiarize yourself with the 7th edition of the APA guide. So make sure to purchase that. There are a lot of online tools that are useful for that, but please do not just put all of your hopes and dreams in APA style into a reference manager. They oftentimes do not get it right, and it's pretty easy for me to tell. So purchase the manual. They have like these little laminated cards that are really nice that go with it, or like a cheaper one that's like $17 on Amazon, so you can get it in 2 days. I promise. And then there are two examinations, exam one, which is kind of like a midterm. It serves as a midterm, even though it's not exactly at the midterm point. And then our final exam. Both are worth 100 points. Both of them have a mix of types of questions, multiple choice, short answer, true, false, essay. But I will always post a review video prior to the exam so that you will have an idea of what you're getting into before you get into the test. I will also say that because I do the video lectures, oftentimes I'll be kind of following the format of a PowerPoint that I've put up that's associated with my video lecture. I do veer away from it. I don't just kind of read it verbatim. I don't think that's a benefit to you. If you need any kind of accommodations, in general, of course, please go through the appropriate channels to make the accommodation request. But if you need one specifically for the video lecture, I'm happy to make accommodations when they're needed, and so you just have to let me know. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's pertinent right now. Attendance, again, we can't stress this enough in this program. If I don't see you in class, and by see you, I mean if I don't hear that you're posting in a discussion board or you've missed a week or two, it would behoove you to not let me know why. We're not in class with each other. We're not physically seeing each other all the time. And so I'm not, if you're sick, I don't know it. If something's happened in your life, I don't know it. You have to keep us informed. And I'm always willing to work with people whenever it's needed. Life happens. Oftentimes you get into a graduate program and everything's been smooth sailing before that, but then life events happen during the grad program. So we are fully understanding of that. We understand that many of you, if not all of you, are also employed, a lot of you full-time employed, and so things come up in that way as well. So I do tend to be flexible, but it can't be that you're at the end of the semester and turning everything in and expecting everything to go smoothly at that point, right? So if there's something going on, if you need to turn something in late, you have a valid, legitimate reason for it. If you're in a car accident the day of the final exam, let me know. Things happen. So just keep the lines of communication open. I think that's my main point here. So you'll also notice that we have the immersion week, of course, listed in the course schedule. There is content that week. However, you got spring break before, and it's module 7 and 8, which, like I said, they're the exact same amount of content. So yes, you will have some work to do during the immersion week for this class if you haven't done it prior to being on campus. So hopefully that won't throw people off too much. So with that, I will let you all get to it. Please introduce yourselves, share as much or as little as you like. I'm not going to force you to tell me your life story, but I'm also not a huge fan of icebreakers. So, I'll get in there too and let you all know a little bit about me. This right here is my home office. I will tell you that. And whenever I'm at my home office, I have 2 dogs and I have 2 young children. And so at any given moment, any of the 4 of those creatures could start going crazy, and so my apologies well in advance for that. I oftentimes will record from the office, but then there are disruptions there as well. So, so just so you know, that's a little bit about me. The younger kids are often not as loud and noisy as the dogs. So, so with that, enjoy your first week on, in the program. I hope that we can all get to know each other pretty well prior to the immersion week, of course, and you're going to be seeing me a lot this semester. So have a good day, afternoon, evening, whatever it might be.